Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful and, let's be honest, kind of unsettling idea. That in a world that's all about transparency, one of the biggest sources of power is actually learning to hide what you truly want.
Okay, so let's just jump right into this. The source material kicks things off with this really provocative claim. Being a completely open book, which sounds like a good thing, right? Well, it can actually strip you of all your power. I mean, think about it. If everyone knows exactly how you feel, what your plans are, what you're going to do next, where's the leverage? The argument here is that being predictable is a huge weakness.
So, if being totally transparent can just blow up in your face, what are you supposed to do? How do you navigate the world when being that open book is actually working against you? Well, this is where the source material gives us a framework. It's called Law 3, Conceal Your Intentions. And the whole idea, the core concept, is that keeping people guessing, keeping them just a little bit off balance, is a fundamental form of power.
At its heart, this is all about strategic ambiguity. The idea is if people don't know what your real objective is, they can't possibly defend against it. You sort of guide them down one path, while your actual goal is somewhere else entirely, completely out of sight.
Now, what's really interesting is how this law gets broken down into two totally different methods. On one side, you have active distraction. This is where you dangle a shiny false object, a red herring, for everyone to chase. And on the other side, you've got passive lulling, creating a smokescreen that's so boring and familiar that nobody even thinks to look for what's really going on behind it.
All right, let's start with that first method, the red herring. And we're going to explore it with a story that perfectly shows not just how it works, but how spectacularly it can fail.
Okay, so picture this. Our story has two main players. First, there's the Marquis de Sévigné. He's young, handsome, but just hopelessly obvious. And he's trying to win over a countess, and he's failing, like miserably. So he goes to his mentor, Ninon de l'Enclos, who is an absolute master strategist in the art of seduction.
So Ninon takes him on and lays out this whole battle plan. Step 1, stop being so needy. Approach her like a friend, throw her off the scent. Step 2, create some jealousy. Go out and be seen with other beautiful women. And finally, step 3, sow total confusion. Be unpredictable. The whole strategy was designed to make the Countess obsessed with figuring him out.
And you know what? It worked like a charm. The Countess was totally hooked. She's asking her friends about him, she's watching him at parties. She wasn't in control anymore. She was just reacting to his carefully orchestrated moves.
But then, disaster. The Marquis, he gets caught up in the moment, he's feeling confident, and he just completely abandons the plan. He does the one thing Ninon warned him never to do. He tells the Countess that he's in love with her. And in that single moment, the whole game just collapsed. The mystery was gone. Everything that had seemed charming and mysterious a second ago was instantly reframed in her mind as this ugly, manipulative plot. The spell was completely broken. Okay, so that's the failure of an active distraction. Now let's flip the script and look at the success of a passive one, the smokescreen. And this time, we're talking about a true master of the art.
So, let me introduce you to Yellow Kid Weil, who was one of the most creative con artists in history. His target is this guy, Sam Giesel, a retired businessman who's itching for one last big score. Now, Weil's strategy wasn't to be flashy or exciting. It was to bore Giesel into a state of absolute, unquestioning trust.
Weil's plan? It was a masterpiece of misdirection. First, he dangles the bait. A totally plausible, if a little shady, real estate deal. That's the smokescreen. Now, while Giesel is totally focused on that, Weil introduces what seems like a totally random distraction, a high-stakes boxing match. And finally, the trap is sprung inside that distraction, creating a panic that makes Giesel run for his life, leaving all his cash behind.
So you have to put yourself in Giesel's shoes, right? From his point of view, his entire world was just contracts, profit margins, handshakes, the familiar stuff. That land deal was his entire reality. The boxing match? Oh, that was just a little sideshow.
But of course, the exact opposite was true. The business deal, that was the illusion, the smokescreen. It was just a boring gray curtain designed to hide where the real action was happening. The whole con, the boxers, the fake death, the stolen money, it was all happening behind that comfortable facade, completely invisible to the target.
So, we've seen a total train wreck and a work of pure genius. What are the key principles the source material tells us we should pull from these stories? What are the keys to power here?
Well, the text points to 4 really powerful tactics. First, false sincerity. It works because we want to believe people are being honest.
Then there's the noble gesture. A big, seemingly selfless act can be the perfect cover for your own interests. Third, create a pattern. Do the same thing over and over. Lull people into a false sense of security right before you do the complete opposite. And finally, the bland exterior. What we saw with Yellow Kid Whale, just being so uninteresting that you become basically invisible.
And all of this really comes together in one powerful metaphor: the sheep's skin. See, the goal isn't to look like a dangerous wolf, it's to look like a harmless sheep. Because by putting on that docile, innocent front, you can just walk right past people's defenses. No one's looking for danger from a sheep, and that allows the fox underneath to do whatever it wants.
So we're going to end with this quote from Ninan de L'Enclos, the strategist who started our whole explainer: "Win the victory before you declare the war." And that just perfectly sums up this entire law, doesn't it? By the time your opponent even realizes they're in a fight, it should already be over. And that is a final, provocative thought to leave you with.